Well. Good evening. Alton Brown here, coming to you from Norfolk, Virginia, 10:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've added a towel. Let's cover him up, shall we? There, that's better. I've made an oath to do a live show from the bathroom on my tour bus every night. And this is keeping that promise. Mood lighting. Would you prefer mood lighting? No, probably not. We'll go with this. Actually, I could probably make mood lighting. I could like this, and then I could like turn this off. Like this. That's not really better though, is it? No. Anyway, nobody here to talk to, so I'll just go on completely about myself. Hi. Now there's people. Good evening. This is always awesome. Thank you. Hello. Hola. Hi. Yes, Alton Brown here on the tour bus. I had a fabulous show tonight in Norfolk, Virginia. Beautiful town. I'd never spent time here. We had a day off here yesterday. Just a fantastic little town with, well, it's not a little town. I mean, it's a medium-sized town, I guess. Big boats. Norfolk. We had played Newport News, which is over the river that way. Or not river, bay. But never played Norfolk. Here at the Chrysler Building. It looks like a giant brutalist concrete flying saucer landed. But a great crowd, one of our biggest crowds yet on this tour, and everybody seemed to have a really good time. So now I'm having my nightly bite of whiskey and my reward candy, my M&Ms. That's what they feed me. That's what I get for being a good boy. Happy to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. If you want to ask questions or you want to have questions about the show, this is indeed, a lot of people have been asking me about the fact that I'm saying that this is my final tour. It is. I will still do live performances because I'm going to design another show that's for a much smaller house, teensy, like 500 seaters. And I will fly to those and fly back, but no more touring, as in no more get on the bus with, two buses. We have two buses because it takes that many people. I've got, lighting people, sound people. I've got, effects people. I've got stage management people. I've got people. And then we've got an 18-wheeler completely full. I mean, completely full. Oh, and one of the buses is pulling a trailer for merch. So it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff that I would do. Favorite soup of all time. I had soup for dinner. You know what? This is going to seem like a really strange answer, but I'm a massive vichyssoise fan. Yes, it's a cold potato leek soup, and I think it may be my favorite. Although a good clam chowder. Are you coming to Tulsa? I don't have my phone with me. Go to here. I guess I could. You guys still see me though, right? Even though I'm going to go off and get on another browser page. You're still with me, right? You can still see me. Okay, because I'm going over to this other page. Let's see. Tour dates. More dates. Am I playing Tulsa? Tell me, am I playing Tulsa? Looking for Tulsa. Boise, Seattle, Bellingham, Reno, San Jose, Los Angeles, San Diego, Mesa, Costa Mesa, Tucson, Cleveland, Indianapolis, St. Louis, Milwaukee, Denver, Wichita, Kansas City, Memphis, Tulsa, May 4th, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if I remember correctly, I can't remember, is it Tulsa or Oklahoma City, where I said, yeah, I need a haircut. I'm working on that. The best hamburger I'd ever had in my life was at a corner bar, either in Oklahoma City or Tulsa. I can't remember which one. I hope it's Tulsa because I'm going to Tulsa. I'm not going back to... After Tulsa, it's Lubbock, and then Midland, San Antonio, Sugar Land, Grand Prairie, and Austin. Not wrapping this tour till May 11th. Wow. Favorite Good Eats episode, House That Dripped Chocolate. It's my birthday, and I got tickets to your show on the 6th. Fantastic. Happy birthday. Tulsa. May the 4th be with you. Somebody told us, yes, the 4th. Oh, yeah, the fourth. Yeah. Recommend trying Good Company Cafe. We're in Huntsville next week. Okay, well, thanks for keeping. I'm not taking advice from anybody anywhere else. So if you guys want to give me advice, and I'll listen to that. Looking forward to the DC show. Which one? We're playing two. We're playing a matinee and an evening show in DC. Seattle book signing. Well, that's going to require me. I got to go to another website. Hold on. All right, now that's a different website. That's altonbrown.com. Click on the books and just hold on. I'm looking. Click on the books. This website's slower, very slower. Come on, come on. You can do it, chitty chitty bang bang. There we go. All right, here's a list of all the upcoming bookstore book signings. So I need to start taking these off because I've already done them. There's Orlando. There's Charlotte. Okay, Raleigh. March 1st, Quail Ridge Books. But you can look this up yourself. You can go to altonbrown.com and hit the book pile. But as for your answer about Seattle, see Concord, New Hampshire, Lexington, Atlanta, Bellingham. That's close. That's very close. It looks like that's the only one. I'm finally getting to sign in Los Angeles at Book Soup, which I've always wanted to do that. So I think Bellingham, Washington is as close as a book signing is going to get to Seattle, if that is the one that you said. How does it feel to have a Wikipedia article about yourself? Well, I don't know because I've never read it, and I've been told not to because it's full of disinformation. Because they'll let any asshole appear. Well, I don't know why. I mean, I can't edit my own page, but other people can, and I don't know what. I hate Wikipedia. I think Wikipedia has done more to downgrade human knowledge on planet Earth than almost any other single website. I despise Wikipedia. It's shit. The people, there's no clear. No, it's shit. You know what I did last year? I bought a new set of encyclopedias. Last year, I bought a new set of World Book encyclopedias because I just needed the madness to stop. I need a reference, a modern reference with actual knowledge vetted by actual professionals, not whoever the hell it is that they let edit Wikipedia stuff. I hate Wikipedia. And it's made people the laziest, worst researchers on earth. Okay, the only thing that I would say that's good about Wikipedia is you can use the bibliographies if the articles are done correctly, but even that I don't really like. What happened to the Good Eats set? We destroyed it to make room for other things. How much is a World Book encyclopedia set these days? I think I paid about $800 for it. Money well spent. The way I figure is you got to have something that's an actual authority. What about Eugene? I don't know if we're playing Eugene this time. Let me look. That's back on this website. You guys could go online. That's altonbrownlive.com. They're all right there. No, I don't think so. We're playing Spokane. Spokane's not. That's different. We're playing Boise, Portland. Oh, we are playing Seattle and Bellingham. We've got a book signing in Bellingham, Reno, San Jose. So no, I don't think we're playing Eugene. Yes, you've always wanted to line a custom bookshelf in blue felt to house an encyclopedia set. Yes, and even better is to do that for your Oxford English Dictionary set, which is 26 big volumes. That's much more expensive. But you know what? When I'm doing research and I got to know about a word, Oxford English Dictionary. That's the way it goes. I'm excited for the Wisconsin show. Me too. I love playing Wisconsin. Do you use MSG in your cooking? I very rarely add it directly myself, but I will use things that I know have MSG in them. For instance, the flavor packets from ramen noodles, QB mayonnaise, things like that. I don't literally have a container of it. I used to. I don't know if you guys remember Accent. It was a meat marinade, sprinkle marinade. They called it a marinade, if I remember correctly. And it was 100% MSG. I don't even know if it's made anymore. Love the show tonight. I am so glad. Best food in every state. We don't have that kind of time. Can't wait to see you in Pittsburgh. Fantastic. Love your show. QQ even more. We're thinking about bringing it back. What is the art? Wait, what is the last art piece you saw that got an emotional response out of you? I see art. Thank you for talking about art. I'm an art fan and a collector and an artist. Although I don't show my work because I'm shy about it. I will have to say that the last thing that really moved me was several years ago, I had the opportunity to buy a piece of David Lynch's art. not a very expensive one. It's a paper craft thing, not a painting. But after he passed away, I spent some time just looking at it and was very moved by that. Accent was usually found with weird toppings like this, Mr. Dash and Molly McButter. Yes, absolutely. And what was the other steak seasoning? Like McCormick's steak seasoning. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I know that Accent was like 100% MSG. It literally said on the package, monosodium glutamate. And I don't think that little bits of monosodium glutamate are necessarily a bad thing. I'm not against it. I've put it on popcorn, but I'm a lot more likely to put something like furikake on popcorn that's got natural glutamic acid in it. Whereas the chicken, if you mean the paper mache chicken, it is locked up at the office. What's the quote on your arm for the sun also rises? Never be daunted. If you just type in sun also rises, never be daunted, it'll give you the rest of the line. Important to me. Do I still have the giant chicken fryer? Yes, I do. In fact, I have two of them. The really, really big one, and then the one that we call Jet Fry Junior, which is smaller and which I travel with. Okay, hold on. Now that you have an induction cooktop, what are your thoughts? I do. I went over the house that Elizabeth just finished renovating for us. I had a choice to finally put in a big, sizable cooktop. I mean, range, double oven, my first. And I got a Bertazzotti after a lot of research. It was expensive. I saved up. It's Italian. It has one big oven and then a little side oven, which I really, really like. And the entire cooktop is induction. And I got to tell you, I don't have any regrets whatsoever. I mean, none. It took me about a week to get used to not seeing that flame. But what I love is you can slide pots around. It's like working on an old French flat top. And it's very precise and it's very fast. So I don't think, do I still have the Screaming Goat? I have 5 Screaming Goats. Are you kidding? What are your favorite bitters? There are so many good ones, but you know what? I still like plain old Angosturas, especially the Angostura Orange. I think are probably my very favorite bitters because I use them all the time in martinis. Do me and Adam Savage still hang out? I haven't heard from Adam in 8 years, probably. You had 2 teeth extracted today. I'm so sorry. You're on soft food for the next few days. Well, make it frozen pina coladas and it won't be so bad. Just a thought. Thoughts on Edgar Allan Poe? Favorite work by him? I'm a massive Edgar Allan Poe fan. I collect unusual Edgar Allan Poe editions. I'm a sucker. Poetry, it would take me a while to nail down what's my favorite. But in stories, I'm a big fan of The Fall of the House of Usher and A Cask of Amontillado. I find them both just enormously gratifying books. Dream Within a Dream is maybe my favorite poem. He's got so much poetry. And let's face it, some of it was bad. You Made Chicken Wings is not great. Any recent movies that you like? I really liked Conclave. I really did. I thought the writing and the acting and the deftness of the directing was astounding. And I've made a point of saying that I was not happy with Nosferatu, which I had a lot of. I really wanted to like that movie. And Flow was an extraordinary work of art. And I'm really looking forward. I get to stop for one day in Atlanta next week. And a friend of mine owns a movie theater in Atlanta that has a 70 millimeter print. They've landed a 70 millimeter print of The Brutalist. So I'm really looking forward to seeing The Brutalist. Very, very much so. Have you been bowling lately? No, I haven't. But when we get to Omaha, if you tell me where to bowl, I'll go bowl. I'm not good, but it's a sport that I really enjoy, even though I don't like it very much. Do you like anything from 13th Colony Distillery, Georgia? I'm a fan of the rye. I have had 13 Colony Distillery. They make a gin, if I remember correctly, that is like a barrel aged gin. It's weird. It's like brown, but it's really good. I have not had their rye. If Food Network came knocking, no. If they came knocking, I wouldn't answer the door. That's not going to happen. When I left, they were literally like, "Don't let the screen door hit you in the ass." Do I still talk with Justin Warner? I talked to Justin about a year ago. He's very happy living out in one of the Dakotas, if I remember correctly. Your opinion on Better Than Bouillon? We use it. We use Better Than Bouillon. My wife's actually addicted to it. I mean, like I find jars in weird places. I don't have a problem with that stuff at all. I think it may also have MSG in it, but it brings a little of it in unexpected places. Is really, really powerful. I mean, I use it in pot roast, and I use it in a lot of braises. I don't mind it. What's in the mug, AB? What's in the mug tonight is Hibinki by Centauri. Make relaxing times Centauri times. A coworker gave this to me as a tour gift. I'm dosing it out in very small batches because it's damn expensive. Have you ever tried whiskey from Deanston, Scotland? No, I haven't. You and Jet got that tattoo. Yes, Jet Tila has the same tattoo on my arm. He has a lot more tattoos. Hello from Albuquerque. Hello, Albuquerque. What would you change in I'm Just Here for the Food if you were to write it again? Oh my God. Oh, I haven't opened that book and looked at it in 10 years, so I don't know, but I guess I should. What is my favorite pipe tobacco? I'm a big fan of a lot of Balkan blends, but my everyday is Davidoff Blue. Davidoff Blue. I buy this in the 50 gram. Don't smoke, kids. Don't. But if you're going to, I do enjoy pipe smoking a great deal, and I like cigars a lot too. Favorite donut? An old what they call an old fashioned or sour cream. Old fashioned sour cream donut would be my favorite. I also like a triple yeast raised glazed donut. I love the sourness, like Gibson's outside of Memphis. God, sure hope. We're playing Memphis, and I got to tell you, the first thing I'm doing is I'm driving out to frickin' whatever. It's like half an hour out of town to Gibson's Donuts, and I'll be ready when they throw them at me because you go in the door, they throw a donut at your head, and I will catch it with my mouth. You watch. I'm going to have video going. In culinary school, we had to write a paper about a chef. You wrote about me. Our instructor had it published in the school paper under comedy. Good for you. Good for you. Are your reward M&Ms peanut? One of the weird flavors. No, my reward show reward M&Ms are peanut M&Ms. Would you ever prep for a disaster event? Depends on whether or not I liked my neighbors. Amazing show tonight, brother. Had a great time. Thank you. I do wear Barton Perrier frames part of the time, and then the rest of the time I wear Randolph USA. I don't have the Randolphs in here with me, other than my sunglasses, because they're my show glasses, and I keep them. In what's called my road case, so that I have access to them. But I do have my Randolph sunglasses, which I think are super badass. See what I mean? I have a lot of glasses. Favorite record store? That would be Sweet Melissa Records in Marietta, Georgia, for sure. Do I have regrets about something you taught on Good Eats that you'd like to fix? Well, I tried to do most of that in Good Eats Reloaded, where I think I fixed most of the really egregious sins. I'm pretty sure that I did. Latest hyperfixation. I don't currently have a hyperfixation. Opera, actually, is probably. How are your fur babies doing? They're good. I don't know how many of you have seen the new one. Hold on a second. Of course, a lot of you know Scavagale and Guillermo from QQ and stuff like that, but you may not be as familiar with Hamlet, who we found standing in the middle of the road in Alabama last May. Somebody dumped him on the side of the road. Somebody dumped that glorious creature on the side of the road, and he is I mean, he's a handful because he's a beagle, right? But I've never had a dog that's like. Anyway. Three's enough, by the way. I just want to say that. You miss QQ. So do I. We really, really did love doing it. And the reason that we named him Hamlet is because the first piece of food we gave him was a piece of ham. And he hadn't eaten in obviously a really long time. He really liked the ham. And so I'm like, Hamlet, Scab still owns my heart. Of course, Scabigail is still my girl, my daughter. Well, not my only daughter. You know, there's Scabigail with her stuffed zebra and some other undefined destroyed animal. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. People who don't dogs, I I should be more understanding. I'm sure there were circumstances that were probably beyond their control. I hate it though, and I would take all of the dumped dogs if I possibly could. Um, you rewatched the Cold Can at QQ tonight. That's cool. I haven't rewatched it yet. What's your favorite cut of beef? And favorite way to prepare it? I've been very into the bavette lately, which is from the near the flank, and I just been grilling that stuff like crazy. And I have been marinating it, which is not really like me. And like teriyaki, all kinds of things. I just been working that muscle to death. A couple of butchers near me have started carrying it, and it's just a miraculously wonderful piece of meat. It's kind of like to me what tri-tip is to people out west. Baby Hamlet ran away. No, he did not, and you could tell. I mean, look, he had no collar, he had no chip, he had not been fixed, and he was standing in the middle of the road like he didn't know where to go, like he didn't know how to get back home. And when we drove up, he jumped us because he was so hungry and thirsty. I don't think he ran away. I've seen dogs that ran away, and if you have a dog that is prone to running away, and you don't put a collar on it, and you don't get it chipped, and you don't get it fixed, what are you doing with a dog? I don't think that's right. Favorite blend for burgers? Everyone, each night that I've done this, somebody's asked me that. I'm an 80-20 guy. I'm 80-20 lean to chuck, and I like sirloin and chuck, and I do grind my own. Whenever I have an opportunity, I don't buy hamburger. And sometimes I throw in other scraps if I have them. I'll freeze leftovers from other pieces, like chuck and whatever I've been cooking, and I'll grind that all in there. I've got a good grinder. Actually, it's a grinder that it was given to me by Michael Simon. It's like his brand, and it's a powerhouse. I mean, that thing does not screw around. I like that. How am I feeling, Jen? I'm good. If I had a last meal, what would it be? Duck confit, because it takes 3 days to make. Do they let you drive the bus? No, I am not licensed to drive this bus. Although, what's funny is I understand Bob Dylan is licensed to drive tour buses and often drives his own tour bus, which I think is pretty cool. I've also been told that Bob Dylan, because I work with people who work with Bob Dylan, has his road case, which is a big rolling thing that keeps all your stuff for your show, opens up. It's got like a massive coffee station in it, which I think is badass. I would love that. We had whole brisket for $3.99 last week. What? Wow. No, Bob Dylan's not driving my bus. That'd be awesome, though, wouldn't it? The last pocket knife you purchased. Do I have it? So I happen to have the last pocket knife that I purchased. If I remember correctly, the name brand is James. I don't know the model, but it has two things. The blade is dirty. I had to open a bunch of stuff today. I haven't cleaned it yet. This pocket knife by the company James, has several things that I really appreciate. One, this particular knife does not have a locking blade. I like that in certain pocket knives. I mean, if I have to battle a saber-toothed tiger, no. It's got kind of a wire style clip, which I like. Here's the other thing. It's got kind of a screwdriver on this end. It has a really nice pair of scissors. Matter of fact, the only other thing that it has besides a regular blade is scissors, and I use scissors all the freaking time. The other thing that I really like is it has a micarta handle. For those of you that are knife people, of course, that's a resin impregnated linen, and it has a very it's a feel that I really enjoy. I have kitchen knives with micarta handles. I'm a fanatic for micarta. So I don't know the model. Somebody will go look it up, no doubt, but it's made by the company James. I think I might have paid $130 for this. I want want to say. So it's not a cheap knife, but it has exactly what I want, which is a relatively short blade with kind of a drop point style blade and a pair of scissors. So there we go. Do you have the same driver as your last tour? I only have one driver on all my tours. He has driven every tour that I've been on, and he's always driven my bus, and I won't go with anybody else. Best new music. I've been listening to a lot of old opera lately. It's a problem I'm going through right now. About to do some MacGyver stuff. Yeah, well, I could. How are you holding up in the grind that is touring? Well, tonight's only the 11th show, I want to say, out of 65. So the problem is sleep. It's hard to sleep when you're moving. And my room sits right next to the engine. So it's a little harder. Favorite bourbon, whatever you're pouring. Any point in your career that you were taken aback with excitement to what you were. At what point in your career that you were taken back with excitement to what you were doing or involved in? Definitely this tour. Worked harder on this tour than anything I've done in a really long time. It's a very complex show, and it has made me feel a sense of pride that I have not felt in a really, really long time. So I've been in the Claremont Lounge lately. No, I don't need to see my mother naked again. Do you still fly planes? I'm not current because I don't own an airplane. Favorite new restaurant in Atlanta? I don't know about new, but the restaurant Lucian is my favorite by a long shot. Would you consider Good Eats-esque content for YouTube specifically? Yeah, I think that if I do another TV show, it's probably going to have to be on YouTube because nobody else will have me. Not with my demands. And my demands are complete creative control. Nobody wants to give me that. So it'll be a cheaper show because nobody's going to give me money. The only other thing I could do is go to Patreon and make people who watch pay for it. Nothing wrong with that. What is a cuisine that you wish you knew about sooner? Oh, that's interesting. I think that I wish I had discovered Japanese cuisine, real Japanese cuisine, sooner in my life. That did not happen to me until I was in my 40s. Here's a car question. Wait. Do you know Gordon Ramsay? I've never met Gordon Ramsay. What do I think of Gordon Ramsay? From what I've seen on TV, I don't appreciate it. I don't like seeing people treated like that. I would punch him as hard as I could in the face. I don't think people should talk to people like that. There's nothing so special about a cook, any cook. They should be able to talk to people like that. He does it because he's on Fox, I guess, and they want him to do that to people, to be demeaning, loud, crass, vulgar. I wouldn't eat his food. I don't want his food. I don't want to have anything to do with that. What I wish is I could have the food of the guy that taught him, which is Marco White. It was amazing. Did you get another Porsche? No. I ran into money troubles a few years ago and had to sell my beloved 1984 Carrera. I had wanted that car my whole life, and now it's the only possession that I've ever had that I had to let go of. That I really wish I had back. Well, except for a couple of airplanes. Turn on super chats or make a Patreon. Okay. Alton, are you a diva? Yeah, I think I am. I'm a diva. I need to go look up what. What does that really mean? Does he just mean a brat? Let's see what Merriam-Webster says about diva. I assume that bad behavior is almost like built into the definition. A prima donna. A usually glamorous and successful female performer or personality. I don't have any female attributes. So I guess no, I'm not. I'm not a prima donna or a diva because I'm a dude. I don't know if they've got a name for that. Use video sponsors. Maybe I don't know what that is. Phantom Babette's Feast, of course. Second greatest food movie ever made. To be fair, it said usually female. No, it says usually glamorous. It doesn't say usually female. A usually glamorous and successful female. That doesn't mean it would say a glamorous and successful, comma, usually female performer. Usually glamorous and successful. I don't know. I don't read it that way. Anyway, yeah, you got fact checked by Altitude. Julianne, I don't know what that means. Well, I know what it means, but I don't know what you're asking. Do you have a favorite restaurant? Yes, Lucian in Atlanta, Georgia. Any good bus meals? No. No, it doesn't work that way. All right, stop doing that. What about Michael Simon? I says, thoughts on Michael Simon? I like Michael Simon. I haven't seen him in years. I mean, a really long time. Am I a Devo? We are Devo. We are not men. We are Devo. Why are you doing these after show live streams? Because I'm amped up after the show. I by the time we wrap, so I have a lot of duties that I have to do. So besides just changing clothes, pack a guitar, I've got to gather up all the dishes and food things from one of the demos. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you might come to the show because I have to wash those on the bus and restock them, put them away. There's a device, a very special device called an Eola pile that I have to clean and strap away in its case. So I've got about an hour of work after the show, but I'm still amped up. And so that's when I decided to come in here and jabber with you guys from the bathroom. And I covered my poster with a towel because I'm tired of seeing that guy. So just do that. And anyway. You wrote your first home ec essay on fried chicken recipe from Good Eats. Thank you for sharing your spirit and knowledge with the world. You're welcome. Good ears. What? Somebody's knocking on my door. They have their own bathroom. They can fuck off. All right. Green olive vodka drink recipe. You just said it. Green olive vodka recipe. Best advice for a new chef. Get good shoes. Don't mess around with that. And don't hunch over things. Like you see these TV shows and movies where the chefs are like all hunched over things. If you need to do that, what you need is fucking glasses. You don't need to be all hunched over. It doesn't make you better. It's like, this is not like, oh, I'm putting the parsley on the veal. Fuck, dude, stand up. Homo fucking erectus, man. And you're going to end up like this. Poor Emerald Lagasse, because bam, he looks like, no, that's not the way you're supposed to be. Kenji and Elton collab. Nah, he doesn't need me. He definitely doesn't need me. Can I have the poster? Yeah, sure. They come in 3 colors. This is not the best one. The green and the purple are both really great too. How much of a patron following? I don't know. I haven't done the math on the Patreon thing yet. Bam. Yeah, you gotta love it. I keep going through these with Bob Dylan. How do you handle fame? How would you handle Bob Dylan level of fame? Look, the way you handle fame is to freaking ignore it because it is going to go away. Now, if you're a Bob Dylan, it doesn't go away until you die. But mine's going to go away, and I don't want to be one of those people that's like, I used to be famous on the Food Network. I'm like, fucking who cares? So, I carry my own luggage through the frickin' airport. I don't do that whole sunglasses entourage bullshit because you know what? All of those people are only there for your money. And it's going to be gone. It's going to stop. It just is. And then you'll be like all sad and lonely about it. I'm not going to do that. What caused you not to believe in God? What happened? People helped me to not believe in God anymore. Religious people. If God does exist, I think the best thing that we can possibly do is not talk about him. Because as soon as we do, we start shooting each other and killing each other and acting self-righteous and thinking that we're better than everybody else. So I hope there is a God, but I'm not going to pay any attention to him. And I kind of hope he doesn't pay attention to me. And this comes from somebody who was full immersion baptized in the Southern Baptist Church. I'm not in that club anymore. And I'm seeking, and I hope I miss church. I may start going back to the Episcopal Church, which is the first church that I was a member of, not necessarily because I believe, but because I want something spiritual. And it may be that it's worth believing in God, even if you know God doesn't actually exist. Maybe it makes us be better people, but I haven't seen that so far. Most of what I've seen for people that believe in God is that they're assholes, and they let that happen to them. And sorry, a lot of church stuff happened to me. Some Christians are, no, religion. We need to be so careful with it. It's so powerful. And the willingness to become superior. Conclave, really great movie. Such a wonderful film. I'm a fan of Catholicism, even though I don't know that I believe in God anymore. There's Ray Fiennes' character gives this wonderful speech about the harm of certainty. That is absolutely a stunning piece of writing and rings so utterly true that once we become so certain in our beliefs, that is where tolerance ends, and the kind of love that I read in the Bible that Jesus talked about is very difficult to coexist with certainty. I'm not going to talk about religious anymore. And I'm sure as hell not going to talk about politics. You know why? Because it's useless. Totally. I'm not going to. My favorite Dylan. I'm going to look at actually what I've listened to the most of Dylan, at least in the last couple of years. Because I didn't used to be a fan. And I became a fan with age. And I think I'm going to have to stick with Highway 61 Revisited. It's what I've listened to the most. Although some of his stuff from his darker years have also been very good. I have this continuum where it's like I go back and forth between Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan, and I can't listen to them both at the same time. It's funny. I see them as opposite sides of the same kind of cosmic coin. And I don't know if any of you are Leonard Cohen fans. I am. I think no one has ever been a better poet. Although, interestingly enough, some of his songs were best done when covered by other people. Hallelujah being the greatest one. You can't stand Dylan. You know what? A lot of people don't like Dylan because of his voice. I think it's really hard to argue with the music, though, and the lyrics. I don't like it at home. I mean, it's his thing. Right? And it's what he sounds like. A lot of people don't like Mick Jagger because of the way he sounds. Do you still ride a BMW Airhead? I still do have a 1984 Airhead. Yeah, I sure do. Tom Waits. Yeah, it's hard to bring up those guys without bringing up Tom Waits, who is, the Junkman poet of that trinity. And I still think Nighthawks at the Diner, Rain Dogs are seminal albums. And Johnny Cash, yeah, I'm a Johnny Cash fan, especially the later stuff. I really like the stuff that he did with Rick Rubin, and I'd been raised around that because my grandparents were country music fans, big like hardcore, like Grand Ole Opry level, and they liked Johnny Cash, and I remember getting my first copy of Folsom Prison Blues was an 8-track that my grandfather was a mechanic, and he found it in a car and gave it to me, and I thought it was just like electric. This visceral thing that he did there was so risky. He was spending his own money. Cash was, and he didn't have that much of it really at that time. So I think that was really a brave thing to do. So yeah, I'm a Johnny Cash fan for sure. Favorite meal when you don't have the energy to cook? I often don't have the energy to cook. What's cooking? If I just take a piece of chicken, cooked chicken already, leftover, like leftover roast chicken, and I stick it under a broiler with, I don't know, olive tapenade on it. Is that cooking? Or is that just artful reheating? Because I do a lot of artful reheating. Sorry. I do a lot of that kind of cooking. And I'm a master of melting cheese on things. I've melted cheese on things that nobody should ever melt cheese on. I mean, I've melted cheese on Captain Crunch cereal. I've melted cheese on ice cream. By the way, vanilla ice cream with burnt little shards of Parmesan. And just drizzle on a little balsamic vinegar. Trust me. Trust me. I wouldn't lie to you about food. I'll lie to you about other things, but I won't lie to you about food. It's really good. Get a haircut, hon. You're out of control. Yeah, I know I am. I've been trying to get a haircut. The problem is I keep going places and I can't get in, or I can't get a reservation. And haircutters now, you're like, well, we booked 3 months out. I'm like, fuck, I need a haircut. Look, I know. I mean, I look like halfway between Bozo the Clown and one of those troll dolls from the 70s. I know. It's a problem. You're not walking around with it on your head, but I think my wife, I've got a day in Atlanta in about a week that I think she's found somebody that's going to do it. So I'm just looking for something I can actually answer. Cheese and fish. How can they get together? Oh my gosh. Sole au gratin Florentine. One of the great dishes of my youth is nothing but whitefish, a cheese sauce. You've got to make a full roux, full on, like velouté style. Bechamel sauce with a lot of cheese melted into it, and preferably a little bit of onion, and then and serve that with spinach, cooked spinach over whitefish. You actually bake it so that the flour part of the roux sets, and that's pretty great. You want to bring up my Desperado parody avocado. Did you steal? Oh shit, that went away. Did you steal that? The Weird Al did a Desperado parody about the avocado during his satirical fake interviews. The one with Mitch Macy. No, I did not know that. If I had known that, I wouldn't have done it because I despise anything that looks like plagiarism. I had no idea that he did that, and now I'm embarrassed because I never embraced being bald, but I'm not. I'm not bald. I got this shit on my head, and I didn't. I shaved my head for like 5 years. I didn't. It's not me. So I didn't know that about Weird Al. I had no idea that he had done a Desperado avocado thing. I feel bad about that now. Thanks for making me feel bad. Do you consider yourself to be a chili head? No, I don't. I enjoy chilies in measured amounts, but I have what my wife calls chili hot mouth. I can turn it off though, which is interesting. Chef Esther Choi tried to kill me recently on her web show, her Heat Eaters show, and I can literally tell my brain to not do it. But in normal day-to-day life, that's not me. I actually can't take much heat at all. But when I know that I'm going to be facing it, I can create a mindset that allows that to happen and kind of just go with it. And it's hard to eat me under the chili table, so to speak, when I'm in that mindset. There you go. I think you looked great when you shaved bald. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think I did. It looked good with a Tesla coil. Yeah, it absolutely would. Do I believe in UFOs? Well, I haven't seen one. Have you? No. What's interesting is that I think most of us really want to, because what's much scarier is to think that we actually are alone. Because if we actually are alone, then we're special and we ought to act differently. If we really are the only sentient, not to mention locomotive, creatures out there on this spinning dirt speck, then we would treat each other better. We would act differently than we do. So I think we need to believe that we're not the only ones. I don't know if we're the only ones. And I don't know that I believe in UFOs. I've never seen one, and I don't know about anybody that's ever seen one. So I don't know. Captain Crunch French Toast. Hell yes. Yes. That's like the Monte Cristo of cereal. Are you doing a book signing in Huntsville? I don't know. Go to my website. Somebody go to my website. Go to altonbrown.com. Click on the book stack and tell me if I'm doing one in Huntsville. Favorite restaurant in Nashville? I don't know any restaurants in Nashville anymore. Too many have closed and new ones have opened. You'll cut my hair. That's great. You love those trolls. Yeah, scared me. White sauce. Yeah. You may have to supercuts. I'm not going to supercuts. I will let this happen until I have to tie it back in a fucking man bun before I do that to myself. Parmesan ice cream is the thing I know, but what I said is Parmesan cheese on vanilla ice cream. Pay attention. Not exactly a morning. No, what I described, yes, I know that in literal terms, I'm talking about Mornay sauce because what's a Mornay other than cheese added to a bechamel, and usually onion as well. But I put other stuff in mine. Um, in that situation, usually cayenne and a couple of other spices. So it's certainly Mornay-esque. Do I like Van Halen? Not especially. Favorite English dip? Now, what's an English dip? Name one. Do you have to go? Wait. Right. All you have to do is go to Margot in East Nashville. Is very good. You have to try it. Okay, I'm going to write that down. Got it. All right. I think somebody said, "Do I think that What We Do in the Shadows lasted one season too long?" I would say maybe 2 seasons too long. Great show. What's your like glasses prescription? I wear bifocals. Okay. Uh, if people start talking about haircuts, I'm going to get my haircut. I don't enjoy this. Okay. You know, it's like getting up on stage every night and having, it's terrible. What's the genesis of the name Alton? It's an Old English name that means old town. I think it's from like Cornwall. Uh, you saw me on the Hot Ones, and I was the freaking man. As I've told people, I cheated. There are not any chance for New York City dates being added. Unfortunately, we did not manage to get any New York State dates on this tour, which I really hate because we usually play Schenectady, Rochester, Buffalo, Ithaca. I mean, we usually play a lot of New York dates. We weren't able to get theaters this time, so there you go. What's my favorite use of allspice dram? I use it in my clarified milk punch, always, for the holidays. What's your go-to food when you're sick? Popsicles. I like orange popsicles, and I dip them in tequila. Favorite fast? No, I don't have them. That was strategy, not cheating. Well, I don't know. I think it was probably. Have you tried Asian parsnip gin? I have not. Can't wait to see me in Montana. Is this the first time we played Montana? No. We played Butte. But we're not playing Butte this time. We're playing Kalispell. I love all national parks, especially the ones that are underwater. Nutmeg on Brussels sprouts. I don't think so. Do I miss Kevin already? Somebody was there. Favorite Hitchcock film? My favorite Hitchcock film is not the best Hitchcock film, but I can't help it. It's North by Northwest, followed immediately by To Catch a Thief. There's something about the Cary Grant Hitchcock films, even Suspicion, that I really like. A Notorious, but North by Northwest. Which estate has the best food? Who the heck knows? Stop asking me if I like Van Halen. I said no. Favorite REM song? I don't care. Favorite DC song? Back in Black. I did drink. I drank heavy cream. I told you I cheated. Slayer, Pantera. Leave me alone. Travel travel tour must-haves. I have to have some kind of scented candle. This is not because I'm frou-frou or metrosexual. It's because buses stink. And sometimes gases come up from the gray water holding areas that are pretty bad. So you can't do that. I have to have, I can look around my room. I always have my pipe. I always bring noise canceling headphones. I always bring lots of tea bags. I don't have room for a coffee maker, but I have lapsang Ushino. You know what I'm trying to say. Lapsang Souchong, which I drink a lot of. So those are things. What do I binge watch? Nothing right now, although The Great on Hulu was really badass. No, I do not pass a doob. I do not smoke marijuana. I do not like marijuana in any of its forms. Not because I've got any kind of like moral issue. It drives me out of my mind. When I have tried marijuana, I get besides very paranoid, my brain goes into these time loops, and it's incredibly unpleasant for me. I mean, really unpleasant. I don't like it at all. Um, I've never been a real Reacher fan, so I'm not really watching that too much. Um, I like Heston Blumenthal's shows quite a bit. I've never met him. He's an incredibly bright person. Uh, is North by Northwest also my favorite Cary Grant film? See, I'm not sure I'd say that because there will always be Philadelphia Story, and there'll always be Philadelphia Story, and there will always be Arsenic and Old Lace. I, I love Cary Grant. I really did. What are my best tips for dating? Be yourself. Learn good manners. Good manners. If you're the gentleman, pay for the date. Don't try to touch her other than a handshake on the first date. Just wait. If something else is going to happen, it'll happen. Be a gentleman. Dress properly. Use the correct fork. Being a gentleman. And if you're the woman on the date, be a lady. I still think these things matter, to be honest with you. I think decorum matters. I think manners matter. I think opening doors matters. I think that we've smushed romance. We've literally kicked romance in the balls by being so caught up in everybody's equal and everybody, the great romances is like the great romance movies. They celebrate those things, those timeless elements of what romance is, and I think that we should celebrate those things. I'm probably not the best person for asking about that. What's the movie that I enjoy that most people haven't heard of? The Japanese movie One Cut of the Dead. I don't know that most people have seen that. I'll get back to you on that because I've got like a list of them. Manners make man. I do actually believe that. What is this one? Go to tobacco blend currently for pipe. It's definitely Balkans, darker, spicier Balkans. I'm just in a thing right now. But then I'll swing back to the more English leathery stuff. As far as cigars, I'm smoking mostly Nicaraguan Robustos from various makers. I do love that. Yes, I have heard of Wasabi Chow Chow, and it's quite good. I really like it. Thoughts on the new Dune film? Well, I like Denis Villeneuve. He's a good director, and I don't have a Timothy Chalamet problem. I don't. I think Timothy Chalamet's a good actor. I'm not crazy about the adaptation of the material, of the source material. I know you're moving into Elizabeth's family home. I hope her mother hasn't passed. No, she did not. She's still alive, but chained to the floor in the basement. Thoughts on TikTok recipes? They're shit. All of them. Her mother decided to move into a retirement tower, a real cushy one too, and left us. Basically, the house was going to be Elizabeth's anyway, so she's not chained to the floor. I love my mother-in-law. I really do. She's great. Favorite guitar brand to play? I've always been a Fender guy. The Fender Telecaster is kind of the end of it for me. Who do I admire the most? Too many to go into. Do you like Rocky Horror Picture Show? Of course I do. I would have made an excellent Frankfurter. I don't look that good in the hose, but worst Doctor Who. Okay, some more questions here. Can I moderate your chats? Sure. Have I watched The Good Place? I did. I watched an episode of The Good Place. European motorcycles, British, German, or Italian? Well, British for style when they're not broken down. I mean, Triumph's doing a much better job now. Italian, I've had Ducatis. I've never had an Aprilia. What I really want is a Moto Guzzi. I'm sorry about that noise. You're hearing the bus crank up. So we're going to start moving here probably soon because we've got a very long drive, 7.5 hours to Greenville, South Carolina for tomorrow night show. So I'd really like to have a Moto Guzzi. I've had 10 BMWs, and I think that what I like about BMWs is they're incredibly reliable and they just don't break. Never had one break down on me, and just bulletproof motorcycles. I've had Triumphs, simpler, great ergonomics, classic, but it's the Moto Guzzi that I really want. So if anybody out there is, do I believe in free will? Yes, I believe in free will. I totally believe in free will, which is an act of free will, which proves free will. No? Or was it predetermined that I was going to say that? If something's predetermined, and that means there's somebody predetermining it, why the fuck would they go to the trouble? It would be boring as hell, right? So no, I'm not a Calvinist, and I don't go. Let's talk about opera addiction more, please. I'm learning everything I can about opera. I don't know what happened to me. I've always been a fan of the standards, the Puccini's and yeah, I can sing along with some of the Traviata, but recently I've just gotten really, really hooked into opera, the history of it, the social history, the musical history. I think it's really fascinating stuff. You didn't have a first year R1100 RS. I have a scary story about the one that I had. Gray Box Others. No, I never had an RS. R, of course, means it's a Boxster, so it's the air cooled. But no, I never had that bike, so maybe that's a real difference. Went there. I adopted my parvo foster from Greenville Humane Society 4 days after she went there. Haha. I have to pay attention because my slide out, the part of my room that's like sticks out of the side of the bus, is going to slide in soon. I have to make sure nothing's going to get crushed. Hold on. That would make for great content, but a really bad night for me, because if it happens, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Yeah, I hear the air brakes letting go. Would you ever live abroad? Japan. In a heartbeat. The problem with Japan is they don't have, there's no rabies. They completely eradicated rabies, so it's very hard to bring a dog into Japan. I love Japan. So yes, I would live abroad if I had that opportunity. Do I speak Japanese? No. What I do is before I go, I have these flashcards of maybe 50 phrases, and I practice them and I practice them and I practice them and I practice them, and then I go to Japan and I use them, and then I leave Japan and forget them. So I get them out every single time and redo it. You do make a killer meatloaf. Thank you very much. 3 dogs should be easier. Well. Yeah, 6 months quarantine. No, I'm not going to do that. You live in Norway? You went in 2000. I've never been, so I guess I should go to more places before I say. And I know a lot of people. I've got friends that like when they get a weekend where they need to work at home, they go to Copenhagen. I've never been to Copenhagen. That's Denmark, right? And they say everybody there speaks English, and it's like going to New York, only clean and polite. So maybe I'll try that. Am I a Star Wars fan? I grew out of it, it's, look at it this way. I remember going opening night. I remember actually going opening week to see Star Wars. I was visiting California and saw it at Gorman's Chinese Theater. I remember the line. I remember the level of excitement when the movie started. It was absolutely electric, and that was episode 4. And then I very strongly remember going to The Empire Strikes Back. And I remember, I'm your father. No, I mean, it was amazing. But I was a kid. I think look, we all have, I was more of a fan of James Bond movies up until last couple of movies. Because I was raised during that period more than I was during the Star Wars era. I don't find the artistry of the recent Star Wars stuff to be very compelling. But then I don't find much anything recent to be very compelling. I think I'm just getting old. Have I watched the Mr. Vampire movies on Criterion? They're bonkers. I have them all lined up in my queue. We're moving now. Things are going to start swinging around. So I'm looking forward to watching those. I've got about 50 movies on my watch list. Have you ever met or wanted to work with George Motz, the Booker Scholar? I know who he is, but I've never met him. I don't know that much about it. Ever watched Taste by David Rosengart? Of course. What, living under a rock? Before Good Eats, there was Taste. And it was a wonderful show. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he went off. Sorry, I'm hearing mechanisms moving. Have you ever wanted to meet or work with Craig Ferguson? I was on Craig Ferguson. He and I share a very, very close friend, the guy that used to be the head writer on his show. But I did Ferguson show, had a great time. We made cotton candy with a power drill. He was totally into it. What's in the mug? I haven't said in the last half hour, have I? It's Hibiki by Suntory. Make relaxing times, Suntory times. As soon as this happens, I'll show you guys. There's a lot of creaking going on in here. Do I have a favorite classic movie musical? I gotta think about that because it's so easy to come up with movies that like have one or two good songs, but a really great musical is like packed with good music. What do you think about that? Music Man, it's good. So is Carousel. Singing in the Rain doesn't have that much great song in it. I tend to like musicals that came out of musical theater. Sweeney Todd. That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say Sweeney Todd's my favorite because I really like Stephen Sondheim music. It's bloody as fuck. I like it. Elizabeth and I saw a little bitty production, down in Lower Manhattan, and it was actually they built a meat pie shop, sat us down, fed us meat pies, and did the play on the tables with only, if I remember correctly, a piano, like a banjo and an oboe or something, and it was freaking amazing. Barrett Street Theater, I want to say. Absolutely amazing stuff. I love like cheap off-Broadway theaters. My favorite. Yeah, Sweeney Todd's amazing. I mean, the music of that show is really. The one which doesn't count, really, because that's all music from other places. So I don't think that makes any sense. My Fair Lady's awfully good. Would you rather smoke with Snoop Dogg? I don't want to smoke that stuff. I don't smoke weed. Any decent substitute for Campari when it's out? Yeah, Cynar. Some people call it Cynar. It's not Cynar. Cynar. It is an artichoke bitter liqueur that I think works splendidly in place of Campari, especially in things like Negronis. Grew up on My Fair Lady. My Fair Lady's hard to beat. Very, very hard to beat now that I think about it, but I'm going to still stick with Sweeney Todd. Cabaret. You know, the thing about Cabaret is it's got some really iffy songs in it. It's just not that good, I think. You're new to drinking. Welcome to the party. Wait. How do I find good alcohol? Find friends with money and work it out from them. Work on one thing for a while. Don't jump around. Say like, look, I like tequila, so I'm going to learn about tequila. I'm going to drink a bunch of tequila, so I'm going to find out about tequila or gin, or whatever it is. And if you find that you like a couple of cocktails and you look at the ingredient list, you're like, oh, well, I like this or I like that. Don't sell yourself short by just saying, well, I'm going to have, vodka martinis and Long Island iced teas, because that's not really drinking. That's getting drunk. How was filming at the Claremont Lounge at Bourdain? Fine. I mean, luckily I'd already seen my mother naked once when I was young. It's just, things had changed. Bourbon. Do you still eat buttermilk and Captain Crunch? You've read the book? No. When was the last time you got a $100 hamburger? I've never had a $100 hamburger. I've heard of $100 hamburgers, but I've never had one. I don't want one. I know a lot of great $20 hamburgers. Hell, I know a great $7 one. Suggest a good read. You know what? I believe in the classics. I really do. When's the last time you sat down and write? I was talking last night uh, about Fitzgerald, and I was talking about Gatsby, about the Great Gatsby, and the fact that here's this little bitty slip of a book, things like that thick, and in it is contained the entirety of the American dream and some of the very best language ever put on a piece of paper. Um, Whenever I get tired of reading, I go read that again. Um, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series will always be my favorite. That's a good one. The network is not a loser. They just have different priorities. A good Boulevardier. Look, I prefer Boulevardiers made with rye, not bourbon. So I literally simply replace the gin in my Negroni with a Whistle Pig rye. And to me, that's the epitome of a Boulevardier. I know it's a little bit blasphemous because it's supposed to be bourbon, and a lot of people reach for Maker's Mark for that, or other or wheated bourbons. I don't. I think rye is you got to have a little bit of spice there. Catcher in the Rye, certainly. It's funny that for me, Catcher in the Rye didn't age as well as some other books. I don't know exactly why. I think it may have been the time that I read it. Might have been. I'll be making collard greens and smoked pork shanks tomorrow. Any suggestions for preparation and/or additional sides? The only side that you need is cornbread. 100% cornbread. You get a recipe for that off of my website, off of altonbrown.com. And I strongly suggest you do that. What I do is I cook the collards in a pot, with the appropriate liquid. Again, my recipe. Then I take out the collards. I do this in a pressure cooker, but I don't cook the collards under pressure. I take the collards out and the juice that's accumulated. Then I put in the hocks and cook them pressurized under the pressure cooker at high pressure for about 45 minutes. Then I take them out. I knock all the meat off of the bones and all the connective tissue. Then I put the collards back in and simmer it long and low until the flavors come together. And I add a good bit of vinegar and red pepper flake at the end of that process because I actually want to taste the bite of the vinegar. Well, guys, I've been on for an hour and 6 minutes. The bus is getting ready to pull out. I'd love to show you the slide thing going in. So I'll stay on a couple more minutes, see what happens. It's 11:45. We've got a 7.5 hour drive tonight, so I know that we're going to be leaving soon. Sourdough, hell yeah! I've got 5 starters in the fridge back at the $5 gas station Burgers Rock. There's great food at all kinds of price points, and if anybody tells you got to pay $100, for a great hamburger, they're full of shit. Is there a hamburger worth $100? Yeah, probably. I remember when, was it Daniel Boulou or Cafe Boulou did it was like a Wagyu burger stuffed. They formed the burger around short ribs. This is 20 years ago or something, and they were charging $25 for it. Everybody was like, $25. I've always been more of a smash burger guy myself. That's just me though. Favorite hard cider? Gee, I don't know. Oh, you mean that $100 hamburger? Oh, I'm sorry. You mean the flying $100 hamburger. Sorry, at my VIP thing today, it asked me about burgers cost $100 themselves. You're talking about a $100 hamburger flying. I've had a lot of those. Of course, we call them $100 hamburgers because it's going to cost you $100 once you fly out there and get it. I adore airfield restaurants in America. And guys, you've got no idea, unless you're a pilot, how many of them there are. There are airstrips all over the United States, and about a third of them have really great little restaurants attached to them. And very often they feature a hamburger, and we call them $100 hamburgers. Thank you. I'm sorry. I've had a long day. Yes, piloting once. I always wanted to do a TV show about them, but I could never find a network who wanted it. They didn't think that flying a small airplane was relatable. What passes for thinking? Hold on. Best vinyl jazz album you purchased? Oh my gosh, my wife and I have a little bit of vinyl problem, a little bit of a stereo problem. and probably have, I don't know. I mean, jazz alone, I'm sure a couple hundred. We've found some really good things. The early Capitol collection, Miles Davis story, in beautiful condition. That's a hard one to find, but there's so many. I've been working aggressively to try to complete my entire Impulse collection, which is really tough. But I consider them to be better than Blue Note, better than any of the other labels, and so I'm working on that. But I'm stingy. I refuse to be like, I'm going to pay $500 for an album. No, I'm not. No, I'll, I'll pay the price of a small car for a preamp, but I won't do that for a record. Um, I'm finally close to having the stereo of my dreams. We'll keep that. We'll talk about that. Da, da, da. No, I have not met George Motes. I don't even know who that is. Jazz is cool. You're absolutely right. Mrs. Wilkes Dining Room. Yes, I have been to Mrs. Wilkes Dining Room. I think it's quite good. The peach cobbler was quite good. You're 40, you're red, and watch Criterion, so either you're cool or I'm older than I think. You might be older than you think. Most required pizza topping. Olive oil. Most underrated spice. Cardamom. I have not watched Severance. I haven't. I feel bad. Favorite Muppet character, animal. I mean, I should say the Swedish Chef, shouldn't I? All right, Swedish Chef. Any charcuterie tips? Yeah, let somebody else make the charcuterie. Favorite Japanese beer? I like Sapporo. I like Sapporo Draft. Best fountain pen ink? Sailor. It's got the best flow and a lot of great colors. And it comes in little bitty bottles, which I like. Favorite coffee in New York City? Uh, so, Ninth Street Espresso. Ninth Street Espresso. Uh, Best oysters? No, they're not necessarily from PEI. It depends on the year. If I could own any movie prop, what would it be? The letters transit. I don't have to say anything else, do I? The letters of transit. Uh, yeah. Is On the Road by Jack Kerouac overrated? I don't think so. I think it's a breathtaking masterpiece. It's almost like I think that's kind of like saying, is Jackson Pollock overrated? You might get burned out on it. You might not like it, but it's not overrated. Sake, hot or cold? Cold. My wife has certain sakes that she really likes hot. I'm not a hot sake fan. I like mine cold. What plane do I fly? Well, I don't fly one at all right now because I don't own one anymore. The last one I had was a Cessna 414, and before that a 206 Turbo. Both Cessnas. Best date night with my wife. We have this eensy beensy little bitty lake cabin, one room lake cabin with a bathroom out on this lake in Alabama. It's out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And it has this massive deck that she built on it. And my favorite date night would be being out on that deck with her, eating potato chips and caviar. Yeah. Favorite album at the moment? Well, besides all this freaking, let's look at my Spotify list. Would you guys like me to like publish a Spotify playlist of what I'm listening to on the road? Would anybody like that? Would anybody like pay attention if I did that? Um, Anybody? Would somebody want that? Because I could do that. I could make a list and make it public. I've been listening to, gosh, what's something new that I've been listening to? Mostly old music. Um, I've been listening to the Cocteau Twins. Okay, bus air systems coming on. So that's the whole side of the bus. coming in so that we can drive away. So things are going to probably get loud here. I'll probably have to sign off in the minute. Yes, you don't want to leave anything out where that could get crushed because it's pretty bad. What else have I been listening to a lot? So this book on opera that I've been reading, Mad Love, the writer published like a 17-hour playlist of opera that goes with the book. So I've been listening to that. I have been listening to a fair amount of Peter Gabriel lately because our exit music at the end of the new show is the song Steam from Peter Gabriel's, and I've been listening to Kruder and Dorfmeister because Elizabeth and I are going to go see their show in Boston coming up here later in the year. And I've been listening to a lot of Warren Zevon. Warren Zevon just makes me sad because of how he died so stupidly young, and because he wouldn't go to a doctor. But for lyrics, it's really hard in the American songbook to pass up Warren Zevon. But if you'd like, I'll if enough of you say you'll listen, I'll make a Spotify list public. And the book cover typewriter model, that's an Hermes 3000. Don't think that it's Hermes like the scarf company. Hermes was a brand of typewriter made by the Bolex camera company, Bolex Payard. So not like fancy Hermes, more like Hermes. And I have 3 of them, and I adore them. And I wrote that entire book on that typewriter. Yeah, I love Zevon. Favorite punk band? You know what? My wife and I were having a conversation with her. She's like a punk connoisseur. And I would say that based on my playlist, I'm going to say the Cramps. Just because I listen to them the most. I know that that's not the hard stuff, but what a fantastic sense of humor. And I think punk with a sense of humor is really great. I also really like Iggy Pop. I mean, yes, everybody likes the Clash. You don't have to come in with a Clash. Yes, we all like the Clash. You like punk, you like Clash. But that's not just even punk. I'm sorry. A lot of those songs aren't punk. Not like Sex Pistols punk. Black Flag, hard and angry. Hard and angry. You know what my favorite album for punk music is actually the soundtrack from the movie Repo Man. Tina Turner, early Green Day, yeah. Favorite poem. Let me get back to you on that, on the favorite poem, but I'm going to bet you that it's either by Baudelaire or Sylvia Plath, who I'm a huge fan of. I don't know if I brought her books with me, but I've got to go through and look because I'm a very big poetry fan. Favorite treat to spoil myself. I never think of it as spoiling. I think of it as self-care. We're pulling out now. Things are going to start bouncing around. Pulling out of Norfolk, Virginia. Don't know how long the internet will hold. I need to type, move some things so they don't fall over. Generally, it's fine by the time we get on the freeway, but things can be a little bumpy. Maybe I should sign off. Besides, people on the other side of this door are going to sleep now. And I've been on for an hour, 17 minutes. That's been fun. I hope you guys are enjoying these sessions. I'll be back with you tomorrow night after the show in Greenville, South Carolina. And yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride. All right. See you guys. Take care.